Good morning, everyone. This is Harry from Spurs TV, back again with a match reaction slash review of Spurs win against Burnley. As you can tell, I only just filmed this soon after I came back from the game. It's actually quite late here now. And yeah, I'm just going to give some thoughts on the game. First of all, some thoughts on the starting lineup. So Ange did go quite strong. In fact, he probably put the strongest 11 Spurs could put out at this present time, with Son still missing, going to Asia Cup. Obviously, Basuma and Sarr have gone, especially Sarr, who ends up being a massive miss for us, I think, tonight. And obviously, yeah, he put the strongest team that you could argue he could put out. Kulusevski started on the right. Lo Celso started as a number 10, actually. It's quite surprising considering Kulusevski's struggles. And obviously, Richarlison and Johnson retained the other two places up top. The back line consisted of the same back line the past month, really. Emerson, Davies in the middle, Porro and Udogie on the wings, and Vicario stayed in goal, which to many was quite surprising considering a lot of people thought Forster would get his go in the Cups, right? And yeah, on paper you'd say Spurs should have won this game very easily. I mean, I don't know any of the Burnley players apart from Redmond who was on the bench, if I'm being quite honest. And you would have thought that. But Spurs, from what I can remember, registered one shot in the first half, which I think was from Johnson. And they rarely tested the Burnley keeper, who I still can't remember the name of right now. No disrespect to Burnley. And there were times when Burnley had a few half chances and they could have actually taken the lead in the first half. Now, Spurs came out in the second half and just carried off where they left off. The same old nonsense. So it's obvious that Spurs are missing Sarr, I'd say 100%. Obviously, Maddison has been missing for a long time, but and just kind of mitigated this by putting Kulusevski there. Obviously, we are missing Son, so he did kind of shuffle the front three, but it's clear to see that we do need a winger, and that's not because Son is like some amazing, world beater. It's just more the balance of the front three was completely messed up, really. Kulusevski doesn't really offer anything on the right in his three. And if you're going to play Kulusevski in this system on the Ange, I've been saying this since the first week, you have to play it in the middle as a number 10. And it was clear to see that Spurs looked more comfortable in that position later in the game when Hill came on for Lo Celso, who supposedly may have come off for Titans. I don't know if that he's just saving face in his post-match Ange with that comment, and Hill again came on, didn't really impress. But the goal did come out of some magic, really, from Porro, who is probably the man of the match, along with maybe Udogie. I thought that the midfield, Bentancur played again. He did all right. He's still kind of getting back his rhythm, so you can't really say that much deep about it. Lo Celso, I thought, was quite poor, even though supposedly he was taken off because he was tired. Skip, again, was poor. I think the midfield for me tonight was the biggest issue, actually. Even though defence obviously does need a centre half, but it just didn't seem to function at all. Lo Celso didn't really seem to offer enough as a number 10. Bentancur was like the best player, clearly, because he was just tidying everything up, and Skip just did practically nothing. And again, the front line, people say, oh, well, the front line is more of an issue, but at least Spurs were creating some sort of half chances. But like I said, they made the change of Brian Hill, and we didn't actually look that much better because Brian Hill wasn't really taking his man on. Johnson, again, was very wasteful tonight, and he's probably the most disappointing signing of the season for me, for Tottenham. In some ways, even more than Solomon, because Solomon was on the free, but he just doesn't seem to have any in product. I think they'll probably give Johnson one more year. Okay, the season hasn't finished yet, but looking long term, I think Johnson Murray has, if we're being ruthless here, one more season after this at Spurs to prove himself. No end product. His decision making was poor. Again, I mentioned Kulusevski, but on the right, again, he was poor. He didn't seem to do anything noticeable. And it looks like with United away in 9 days from now, when I'm filming this at least, and by the time you see this, it'll be obviously 8 days from now, so over a week, it's going to look like a very difficult game. And especially with Ten Hag trying to save his job. Where do Spurs go from here? Well, fingers crossed we have another centre half, which kind of, I guess, mitigates a bit of the issues at the back. In the sense of, at least Dragusin can play alongside Van der Ven, who was on the bench. And I think he'll probably play Van der Ven if Dragusin's there as well. So at least the back line will be fixed. But I do think a winger is almost integral because at least he'll push him and really to play Kulusevski into the middle as a number 10, because right now, in a sense, Ange's kind of been forced to put Kulusevski as a number 10, as a right winger, because of lack of options. Like I said, Gil came on and did practically nothing. I don't think he's made for this league. I actually quite like him as a player, but not for the Premier League, not for England. And I think, again, him and Sessegnon, who came on later in the game, need to be shifted. But probably that'll be in the summer, the way it's going. So, can Spurs take positives from this? Well, they won the game. And actually, I went, as you can tell, and I remember saying that to one of my friends, and I was like, we're going to win this game. It's going to take some sort of magic. And Poor out of nowhere just does that amazing curling shot where he saved our blushes, really, because I really didn't want to replay. Okay, the draw is on Monday. Fingers crossed we get something decent, as in, at home. As long as it's at home, I think we have a chance. Away from home, even against a League One, League Two, even Championships teams, that are quite worried. Even if it's not Premier League, it's still quite worrying because we lost Colchester a few years ago. So that's always back in my mind. But yeah, we win the game, move forward, and we scraped it, and on to United and come on, you Spurs.